we're all friends here. So we're just gonna run through some tunes. I'm gonna start with the title track off my newest record. It's a heartbreak song I like to dedicate to all the divorcees in the crowd. I wrote the song in Oliver, BC, drinking lots of wine, feeling all my feelings during my 6 months of sadness. You were there for part of that. Yep. This song's called Piece by Piece. Chet wouldn't know. It's a full house. Can you see the chairs and the Chet TV cameras? I hope you can see the chairs. I like that there's like 4 people here, but they're like, yeah. My eyes closed, so it's like a stadium full of cameras. Alright, I'm gonna do another one off a new record. This is a song I just had about being I had a dream that I was a crustacean. Didn't overthink it, just wrote it down. Turned it into a song. I'm sure there's some hidden meaning, but I don't really want to dive into it, so let's not talk about it. The song's called Hermit Crab. 1, 2, This next one's on the sassier side. This is a song I wrote after that breakup, but it was right at the beginning when I was really sure of myself. I was like, I'm free. This is the best. And then I lived in a van for 6 months, and then it got less best. The song's called Not Today. Hair flip or something.
Not
No,
today.
that's your cue. Hair flip. I say not today. No, flips his hair. Maybe you could do like. We'll work on it. We've got a week.
The hair flipping days are over.
Are they? Yeah, right. What are you hiding under that hat? The top button, probably.
You got some extensions, just
Yeah, clip them into your hat.
just like a nice little skeleton.
Yes.
Do you need a haircut tonight? You
You
want
can
to
just take some of
donate
these.
some locks?
Aren't you guys glad we could arrange this press conference here?
We're here to talk about Noah's look. What do you think? Do you want to count it?
1, 2,
'It's too good to be true. That's what they say anyway. The other shoe will drop. I've known it and played it by myself for a long time. Because it's a sad one, so it's kind of hard to always justify. I already write kind of bummer songs. I know I'm not supposed to say it, but
That's true. I feel very uplifted.
do you?
I feel-
Okay. I write very uplifting songs, you guys, so. I mean, yeah, I guess I write songs when I feel like I need to take some power back, so they're sad when they start the process. I'll have to change.
All songs have a story.
So this is a song by Mary Gauthier, and I've known it for a long time, but for people who are listening, I think it's worth playing. So this is called Drop in a Bucket. Happy anniversary, baby. It's been a year now since you moved away. Even though I asked you to go, I miss you every day. I miss you in the evenings, all alone in the bed where I lie. I miss you in the morning before I open my eyes. I went and sold everything I could be, gave away what I didn't sell. I moved south to Nashville. I might like it there, I can't tell. Been hanging out in Austin, eating Chili's and good barbecue, writing songs about losing and partying. Hey babe, I've been writing about you. A year mean nothing when you lose someone you love. A year is a drop in a bucket when you lose someone you love. Been traveling hard since September. Won't get back to Nashville till June. Playing my songs all over the world. I can't find a home without you. I press on like a mad rushing river. I press on with the will to survive. Part of me lives, the wind in my face, while the other part is barely alive. A year mean nothing when you lose someone you love. A year Wherever you go, I want you to know I don't think my love ever is. I carry it down the highway. It's a part of my body and soul. One day it'll be the part of me that pulls me up out of this hole. A year ain't nothing when you lose someone you love. A year is a drop in a bucket when you lose someone you love. A year that ain't nothing when you lose someone you love. A year is a drop in a bucket when you lose someone you love.
Well done.
Feels good.
Beautiful ball.
All right. This next one is a love song, also on the new record. I wrote this song, I guess, 2 years ago. I was on tour in Australia, trying not to fall in love with a friend of mine at home in Fort St. John. And yeah, I wrote him a song and then I sent him, I was like, I'll just send him a little teaser. So I sent him like the first half of the first verse. I was like, you can hear the rest in real life. And then I had these like visions of like, I'll come home and we'll make love and we'll be laying there glowing and I'll be like, check it out. And really I got home and I was so jet lagged. I was like, I literally couldn't even talk. It was a mess. I was like, I gotta play that song. And then I couldn't get any words out. I was like, I'm sure it's really nice. I'll hear it another time. So just imagine me naked and glowing. No, I'm just kidding. The song's called Wait For Me. I put an ocean between us. I tried my best to fight them. You're my nightly dream. got just one more, and then Corin Raymond, the main event. Woo! Chet Wind, you're gonna wish you were here. Chet Wind, wherever you are, in Chet Wind. So this is a song, it just kind of came together at the last minute. At the beginning of making a record, I told Corbin Fox, who produced it, that I was coming to record 4 ukulele songs. And now there's 8 songs, and I play piano on all of them. And this song, he was like, so it's 7 songs, just 7 songs? It's kind of weird. You don't have one more? I was like, wow, good idea, but I don't know if I really want to dive into those feelings right now. I wrote the first verse of this song while I was in a fight with my boyfriend, but then the fight was resolved so quickly that I couldn't finish the song. So then he was like, but what else is it about? At the core of that fight, I was like, oh God, codependency, I guess. That I'm a control freak and I take care of everyone until I hate them. So it's not your problem. I pay somebody to talk about that. This song's called Fine. Thanks for having me. Thanks to the Art Gallery for putting the show on.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, doing it. Living the Dawson Creek dream.
We are.
One. You're not always right. You don't always know. There's nothing to fix if it ain't broke.
folks. Folks at the back, folks at the front, folks in the middle. I think I almost are you, you're Robin?
Yeah.
You're Robin, so there's two Robins. You're Robin, Adrian, Austin,
Yeah.
B. That's so cool. Sable and Rachel. I believe it's Marlon. It's amazing. This is one of those shows where I'm going to walk out of here just knowing everybody. It's amazing. Well, I'm Corin Raymond, and you've met Naomi Shore, Noah Walker. And I'm going to do a little set of songs here. And this song I want to sing right now, I thought I was done with this song. This song, I can't tell if this is a winter song or a spring song disguised as a winter song or a winter song disguised as a spring song. All I know is I thought I was done with it. I was like, this is not going to be relevant until next year. And then we came out of the Rolla pub last night and I was playing this gig and it was just like, it was like Star Wars. It was like hyperspace snow. And everything was like covered in this.
So you're the one that's responsible for the bass.
Well, that's what I was saying there. I'm glad you skipped forward there, got ahead of me. But, that's right, Robin. I do control the weather. Yeah, so don't mess with me, man. All right? But anyway, I learned a word last night. We came out of the Rolla Pub and this woman was like, oh yeah, this happens every year. We call this sprinter. And that's what she said. Is that like a thing or is that her thing?
I've never heard that.
Okay, see, that's what I thought.
I think it's her thing.
She just
She said, maybe she just made it up on the spot. Sprinter. She's like, this is Sprinter. Okay, so this is a Sprinter song, all right? Winter is the warmest time of year when you are near, my dear. It's clear to me, you're the one I need right here with me. But you're going where the river winds, and though I love the road and kind, I hope you find the road to bring me back to you. Springtime is a lover's time. You don't see them when it's 25 degrees. You leave me in a spring field, even when another bank of snow blooms where the roses should grow. Winter is the warmest time of year when you are here, my dear. It's clear to me, you're the one I need right here with me. But you're going where the river winds, and though I love the road and kind, I hope you'll find a road to bring you back to me. No longer. Falling all around. Will you think of me when you're out in the world? Just think of me when snow is on the ground. Remember the sweet love we found. Say winter is the warmest time of year when you are near, my dear. It's clear to me, you're the one I need right here with me. But you're going where the river winds, and though I love the road and kind, I hope you find a road to bring you back to me. Still one more minute. You're the one I need right here with me. But you're going where the river winds, and though I love the road and kind, I hope you find a road to bring you back to me. I hope you find a road to bring you back to me. One more. I hope you find a road to bring you back to me. Oh man, I swear to God, you guys sounded like 8 people there. That was amazing. I swear to God, I was like, if I had my eyes closed, there's 8 people.
We should mic our claps and then loop it through his like.
That's an idea, totally. I mean,
Twice as fast.
and what's wrong? What happened to laugh tracks? Eh, where'd those go?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's still in the big band. You
Get
should
the
hear
laugh
that
track.
one.
We should have a big, like electric, applause sign.
Yeah.
You know? Well, that anyway.
You don't need that. You're too good for that one.
Well, thank you, Adrian. Well, I'd like to sing a song. I want to dedicate this song to, well, I'll tell you, tell you right now, major change in my life at the end of last year. Big change. One of the biggest changes in my life of the whole year. And that's that I did something crazy. I bought a CD player, which CDs, man, they're on their way out, you know. And not only did I buy a CD player, I bought the most expensive, most beautiful, most top of the line CD player that I could find. It's a Bose system. It's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. It's got an EQ. It's just like spring water. It's so beautiful and clear. And I paid $8,500 for it. I financed the CD player, Adrian. It's true, man.
Is that all Dawson
Well, check it out. No, check it out. I mean, I wish I could have brought it with me to show you, because it's the best. And I want to show it to everybody. But the cool thing is, when the guy who sold it to me, he showed me like some of the features. My favorite feature on the whole thing really is that it's got a 2012 Nissan Altima built right into it. And, oh man, that's so cool. The other cool thing about my CD player is it's got a sunroof. All leather interior. And I'll tell you something, there's nothing, I think of it more as a rain roof. Because there's nothing like sitting in your CD player, just watching the rain fall on my glass ceiling. So I want to dedicate this to my CD player. It goes like this. Did you ever notice how rain sounds like an old LP when you put the needle down? Crackle and hiss on a day like this makes for a sweet kind of laziness. Practically kiss the roof of my head. I'm driving in my rain bed. City slickers will be slicker tonight. Windshield rain shine blurring the street like cars will slur by my street. Asphalt will shine by the lights of my feet. I don't complain. The sound of the rain is so sweet. Yeah, the wind throws some rain against my window pane like a friend calling me outside to play. He knows I love a windy day. He knows I got a little rhyme to say. Rain song sweet in my brain. Here it comes turning round again. Rain, rain, stay all day. Keep the sky still wool gray. I wanna stay inside and play. Pick up my guitar and say, hey, rain, rain, cool me down. Let the steam roll off this town. The roots of trees deep underground. I wake up when I hear the sound. Rain, rain through the night, on into the cold gray light. If I had my love to hold me tight, I'd turn the light out and make things right as the rain. She ain't here, she's nowhere near the things I whispered in her ear. Wherever she is, she's got them there. I still hear all my favorite things she said. We were lying in our rain bed. Did you ever notice how the rain sounds like an old LP when you put the needle down? Crackle and hiss of a day like this makes for a sweet kind of laziness. Practically kiss the roof above my head. I'm dry, lying in my rain bed. You know what? I get all these raindrops in my head. Every time I lie in my rain bed, I think of all the graveyard dead. Lord, I think of them lying in their rain bed. That river creeping up the watershed. That river should roll out of the rain bed. I sing the rain from A to Z. Yeah, I sing the rain lying in my rain bed. You know what I mean? It's lying in my rain bed. Lying in my rain bed. Man, I love that we're on Chet TV. I keep thinking that in the Hardy Boys, Chet was their like goofy friend. Chet was the guy who always got in trouble and they had to rescue him from some cave on a cliff or something. I don't know what that means. It's just my association with Chet. Hello and welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for being like 30% of our audience. So appreciated. I'm Corin Raymond and I'm just singing a few songs. I'm also admiring the bat houses, which I want to sleep in there tonight. If I got one of those and took it to Southern Ontario, would bats come and hang out?
Yes, they probably
Really?
would. Yeah.
They would?
Oh, definitely. It would take 2 years, but they would.
It would take 2 years.
2 years.
Is that because like real estate prices and stuff? Yeah, totally, okay.
Location.
Right, totally. It's tough for bats too. It's a hard time all around.
I wouldn't
Okay.
know that's what they were.
Even if you sleep upside down.
You need a sign on them. Maybe that's why they don't know.
I know, that's why they don't know. What's right there, man? I mean, there's even a little picture of like a bat sleeping.
I'm not that observant.
Listen, I'm singing songs off of records I got over there, and I'd like to do one off of my last record. I guess that one I just did was off of that too. That album is called Hobo Jungle Fever Dream, and that album was nominated for a Juno a couple years ago, which is super fun and still fun. And people ask me sometimes, like they say, like, you know, does it make any difference? Like, did that change your life at all? Like, you know, getting nominated for a Juno, like, do you notice it at all? And I gotta say, definitely, in little ways, though, ways you wouldn't necessarily notice, think about. Because, for instance, the day that I found out about the nomination, that day I was in Toronto and I was in an underground parking garage, right? Bay and Charles Street in Toronto. And I backed my car into a cement support wall. And I messed it up good. Like I could barely drive it out of there. The control arm was all bent. And I had to like wobble it across town in the rain, 10 kilometers an hour, driving in the bike lane with my hazards on. And I had to leave it at a buddy's place. And I had to wait the whole next day for my car and go to my mechanic. And I had to hand over my credit card to pay him $850 that I could in no way afford. But you know what? I gotta tell you guys, as I was handing over my credit card, I realized, how would you know not to do this? So it's like, it's just these little ways, you know, that makes a difference in your life and you don't really think about it. If anyone here in this gallery can relate to this song in any way, like if you recognize yourself in this song at all, it's not my problem. I'm hard on my body, I'm hard on my bones, hard on every tool I own, hard of hearing, I'm hard of taste, getting all my teeth replaced, I'm hard on every tool I use, I strip the drivers and the screws, hard on my soles, hard on my heels, hard on tires, I'm hard on wheels, hard on clutches, hard on brakes, hardest on my own mistakes, my suspension needs new springs, I'm hard on things, yeah, hard on things. On the sweetest things, I'm worn hard on my liver, it's hard on my head. But to sleep I lie in bed with nightmares the morning brings. You understand me by now? Hard on things. Hard on things. Ain't easy when you're hard on things. Hard on things. All right. Get that out of the way. Let's I was talking to Marcia about Northern Ontario, which is where I'm from. I'm from a place called Red Lake. And to give you an idea of how, I guess Red Lake is where the roads end in Ontario. So it's about a 28-hour drive northwest of Toronto. So it's up there. And I love that whole world up there. And Lake of the Woods is just south of there, where I'm from. They call it Sunset Country, because it takes the sun so long to go down. You go out on the lake, go out on Wabigoon Lake, for instance, and you can just watch the sunset for 4 hours. And just the entire sky from horizon to horizon, it's just all these colors of fire and all these peaches and salmons. And oh man, it's just spectacular. I'm sure you get a lot of that up here, but it's real lake country where I grew up. And I ended up back up there when I was 29 years old, because when I was 29, I had the most spectacular personal meltdown. Like, it was magnificent. I mean, I got to the point I couldn't make a meal, you know. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, if you've ever spiraled in such a way in your life that you just, you know, like you just, nothing like that had ever happened to me at that point. It's happened to me once since. But man, it's scary. You know, I went all through my 20s. You know, I was singing in a band. I didn't play guitar. I didn't have any way of playing music when that band broke up. I didn't really start playing guitar till I was 29. And my girlfriend and I broke up at the time, and I just started to spiral and just started to sort of descend into a state of panic. I had a panic attack that lasted a year, basically. Man, it's tough when that happens, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Because there's no way I would be the friend I am to myself today, or be able to care for myself the way I do, or I wouldn't even know myself, or be able to stand here singing songs for you, or talk to you the way that I can because of that. But the lucky thing for me is not only was I lucky, because so many people need to melt down, they need to break down, they need to just melt down to scrap and just rebuild themselves from the, you know, from the smelt. And they don't have the opportunity to do that, you know. They got kids, they can't afford to lose a job, they just were pride, or they're just the stigma of falling apart, or whatever it is. But I was so lucky because I got to just completely come unglued. And part of the reason I got to do that was because I have an Aunt Beth and Uncle Chuck, which, you know, I'm sure you can tell, I'm sure you're comforted just by their names, you know, Beth and Chuck. Like, if you got a Beth and Chuck in your life, you're gonna be okay, you know? And I didn't know it, but my Aunt Beth and Uncle Chuck kind of got in a benevolent conspiracy, quote unquote, with like a friend of mine in Toronto where I was living at the time. And one day he just came over to by the way, Beth and Chuck live up on Wabigoon Lake, so they live up where I'm from. They're across the lake from Dryden, Ontario, far, far from Toronto. But they sent this buddy of mine over to my place, and he just came over and he opened a hockey bag on the kitchen floor, and he just started packing it for me and holding stuff up like, you want this Willie Nelson tape? Like, do you want this notebook? You know, you want to take these? You want this sweater? And he's just packing stuff. And this is the crazy thing about being depressed or like suicidal, or when you get that low, when you're just in a state of total anxiety. It's amazing because it doesn't matter if you're 29, it doesn't matter if you're 72, it doesn't matter what your age is, it doesn't matter what your position is, what your status is. It doesn't matter, and none of it matters. You feel like your life is ending, and you feel like it's over. And I was 29 years old. I'm 46 now. I was 29 and I really thought, I can remember standing in that kitchen and just the sound of the kitchen clock. You know, the second hand was twitching. The second, you know how you never hear the clock in your house and all of a sudden it's like the loudest thing in the whole house? Like, why does that happen? All of a sudden, it's all you hear. And I was standing in the kitchen and the second hand on the clock just felt like a hammer coming down. I just felt like my life was ending every time it twitched on the clock. And I must have said something about this. I was talking crazy, I'm sure, to my friend, because he got up. He didn't even say anything. He just got up and he went to the wall and he took the clock off the wall. And he just turned the clock off. And he just faced it away in the corner. And I just remember having this like moment of peace, you know, before all the steel-toed thoughts came rushing back in on all sides. Anyway, he took me to the Greyhound station and he got me on that bus. And I went up, which is not the most therapeutic group, by the way, 24 hours on a Northern Ontario Greyhound when you're having a complete nervous breakdown. Man, I was such a mess. I was just weeping around the clock. I couldn't even have a conversation with you. If you'd met me then, you would have just thought I was utterly lost. And I show up at my Aunt Beth and Uncle Chuck's place. They're working people, you know, blue-collar people. My uncle ran a tree nursery, growing trees for the ministry and for the paper mill. And my Aunt Beth worked for the firefighters, the base camps in the bush. She still does. And I show up 29 years old, not just unemployed, with no like skills that they could discern, you know. I had a guitar with me that I couldn't play. Still saying I want to be a songwriter. And they were so great to me, you know. They just gave me so much space. They didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know what was going on with me at the time. And they just said, you know what? You stay here as long as you need to. And if this happens again, because it might just happen again, and you just come right back here. So I stayed there. They took me to a doctor. That was the first time I was on Celexa. Such a sexy name, Celexa. I'm on citalopram again. I love citalopram. God bless citalopram. That goes out to all the folks in Chetland. I hope if you're on citalopram out there, just make sure you took it today. You can go a day or two, but you know, you got to do that. Anyway, what a beautiful drug. But I didn't know anything about it. They took me to the doctor in Dryden, and I, you know, when you're losing your mind, when you're really on the edge, and you know, you can't trust yourself, and you know, it's the scariest thing when they give you drugs that are gonna mess with your brain, you know. And I remember asking him, like, have you ever done these? You know, he's like, nope. You know, it's like, that's not right. I don't know. I was messed up, but I can tell you right now, I know that nobody should be selling drugs they haven't tried. That's all. So it helped, though. I was able to start sleeping again. I was able to take a step back from my brain, which had become like a fascist government. And once I started getting better, I was able to start working for my uncle, his tree nursery. And I was able to start working on songs. And I was able to start learning, you know, Willie Nelson tunes, learning the chords on the guitar. And I decided I wouldn't return to Toronto until I had a whole set of my own songs that I could play on my own. And I didn't go back until then. It took me 8 months. And every day after work, I'd have 2 hours and I'd work on songs. And then after dinner, we'd go out on the screened-in porch there, my aunt and my uncle. And I'd play them country tunes. I'd play them songs I was working on. Anyway, this is a song. This is still their favorite song that I wrote up on Wabagoon Lake. And I was actually working on this song one day. I was sitting out on the porch. It was our day off, right? Me and my uncle. And I don't know, maybe you're like this, maybe you know someone like this, but my uncle's the kind of guy who was like, you know, I could re-shingle the garage tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably pave the top of the driveway. You know, it's my day off. So like I'm on the porch and I'm like working on this tune. He's coming up the hill with like a wheelbarrow full of rocks, like from the lake. You know, he's stripped to the waist. He's sweating. He's like comes up the hill and he puts the wheelbarrow down. He's looking at me sitting on the porch like I'm from Mars. You know, and he just looks at me for a bit and he just says, "Corin, you're a cricket." That doesn't sound cool. Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, look at me. Like, I'm an ant. I got to do this. I got to keep moving. You drive me crazy to do what you're doing. I'm an ant. Like, I'm not even taking these rocks anywhere. Like, just up and down the hill until dinner. You know, it's my day off. Anyway, he said, you're a cricket. You know, you got to play. And that night at the dinner table, he saw the blood blisters on my fingers. Yeah, my fingers were so tender from learning guitar. He grunted and he pointed at me with his pork chop knife. He goes, honest toil. Look at that. So this is for my Aunt Beth and Uncle Chuck. And for Sunset Country. It's the cool of the evening, sun sinking down. I guess it's gone off to paint some other town. The only sound is the slow, even pulse of the crickets. Leaning on each other, turning real slow, while the fiddler, she leans on her bow. The bar's where the rest of us go for something to lean on. Something to lean on when things go wrong. Someone to lean on through a slow song. When that last scud of daylight is gone, straight through to the first blue dawn, you got something to lean on. Now waking up with a hangover, Lord only knows. Last thing I need is the cawing of crows, sitting in rows on the hydro lines outside my window. That same bird makes such god-awful din, makes quite a picture when he leans on the thing. And you made a picture with only a jukebox to lean on. It's something to lean on when things go wrong. Someone to lean on through a slow song. When that last scud of daylight is gone, straight through to the first blue of dawn, you got something to lean on. All that remains of my sweetheart and me is jackknife graffiti on an old tree. It's a shadowy maple tree grown just for lovers to lean on. And there's no sense in wishing, but you know that I do. The man could be me, woman be you. I wonder if you're wishing too. It's me that you dream of. For something to lean on when things go wrong. Someone to lean on through a slow song. When that last scud of daylight is gone, straight through to the first blue of dawn, you got something to lean on. But it's the cool of the evening, sun sinking down. Guess it's gone off to paint some other town. The only sound is the slow, even pulse of the crickets. How do you like that, Uncle Chuck? Yeah. I'd love to sing another song that was finished up on Wapagoula Lake that year. This is called One Fine Day. And I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. Thank you so much for coming out. I do need a little singing juice.
Juice.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
How
They got it in cans now. It's so cool.
How's your singing juice? Is it looking a little tippy? Oh!
You know, I'd say it's about at the lion now. Yeah. All right. Let's do this. I'm standing at the river. Don't know how it got so wide. I don't know if I can make it over to the other side. I wasn't raised to pray, Lord. But if I knew how, if I never needed your help before, I sure do need it now. Give me just one fine day. Let me wake up laughing. Give me just one fine day. Let me sleep where I'm safe. Give me just one clear sign. Sign where I'm going. You can let me feel the sunshine. I wanna feel it on my face. Won't you give me just one? Oh, the rain is falling. Sure. It's falling through the trees. Opportunity's knocking. There's knocking at my knees. And I started on this road, Lord. Falling by its side. I can barely stand in my own shoes. I was meant to strive. Give me just one fine day. When you wake up, that's just one fine day. Give me one fine day. Let me sleep where I'm safe. One clear sign. Give me one clear sign. Sign where I'm going. You can let me feel the sunshine. I wanna feel it on my face. Sometimes I say, won't you give me just one? Should ask for more. No. You had a Noah Walker, man. Also wearing one of the best hats you'll ever see. I got one more thing to say in this song. That's that being alone was easy. When I thought that I was strong, all the girls who tried to love me, I could read them into song. Now I'm here on my own, Lord. 46 years of age. Every song I sing just gotta climb down off the stage. Give me just one fine day. Let me wake up laughing. Give me just one fine day. Let me sleep where I'm safe. One clear sign. Give me one clear sign. Sign of where I'm going. songs.
Plus your encore. And then,
Well, you know, there's a very specific ritual in the Western world that decides that.
it's true.
Frankly, I don't think it's gonna happen. But that's okay. That's okay. I didn't say you can edit that out. You guys can edit that out. You can be like, this guy's a professional. Cut to Noah, you know. Cut to Noah's hat. I hope you got lots of Noah's hat, because that's a great thing just to be able to cut to. Well, listen, I should tell you one thing, because since this is how we make a living, it would be silly not to tell you. We have albums over there. Naomi Shore's got her new record over there, beautiful, produced by Corwin Fox. Noah's all over that record. So what you were hearing tonight is, you know, it's a lot of the vibe on that record, which is beautiful. I have 3 what I call coffee table CDs over there. I call them coffee table CDs because, you know, they all got a CD in them. This is my first album. I did something to lean on, and one fine day off of this. But I decided a few years ago that I wouldn't put out a CD that didn't have the chords, you know, in it, as well as the lyrics. And then there's, you know, the art, and then there's the stories. Like, you know, if you like some of the stories I've been telling, well, you can see it's a book. There's a lot of stories in there. So that's what I got going on over there. This is that newest one. And in fact, there was a fellow from Victoria, BC, named T-Rab the Transformer, Travis Sharuk. And he, you know, if you ever go to the Rolla Pub and you see that beautiful painting of the Rolla Pub with all the swirling colors of the stars, and if you ever go up there, you'll notice it on the bar. It's on the door as well. But that was Trav who painted that, and he did these acrylic portraits over the course of a year of everyone involved in this project. And then, of course, there's the lyrics and the chords and stuff about the songs. So if you're into that stuff, if you're a geek like me, who just, when I was a kid, discovered a lot of music in my dad's vinyl, and man, I remember the day I discovered Tommy. I remember that day, because, you know, every once in a while an album would open up, and that was super cool. Tommy opened twice, you know, and I spent the whole afternoon on the carpet with that thing. We sell our CDs for $20 each. If you're a subscriber to Spotify, which is all cool, but you should just know that when you stream an album on Spotify by anybody, any musician at all, large or small, they get 4% of a penny from Spotify. 4% of a currency unit that does not exist in this country. I can't think of any other vocation where they could take something like, for instance, I would never stand up here ever and tell you what this cost to make, but I feel like I'm kind of put in that position now. I worked on these albums, like this one was a 2-year project. It cost $60,000 all told. And yeah, 4% of a penny is what people pay for it when they stream it on Spotify. I can't think of any other vocation where you would go from, for me to earn $20 off of that album on Spotify, you'd have to listen to that album personally, you, on your account, 4,444 times, which isn't going to happen in your lifetime. So then it just becomes a question, Robin, of, that's okay, I just thought we'd get into this together. It just becomes a question of, you know, what music's worth to you. And I'm not even talking about us or that table over there, like anyone who comes through here with home roots, or anyone who's out there slugging it out, anyone who's making music and traveling the world, selling their records. If you value what they do, and if what they do is of value to you in your life, then you got to decide, is it worth the price of 3 beers? I don't know. So anyway, I just put that out there, not to guilt you into anything. That's the best. That's the best shit I've ever done in my life. You can edit that out too. That's my life's work over there, and I could die tomorrow and be happy that I left those behind. And they will make you happy forever. And whether you pick one up tonight, it doesn't matter. But what you should know is Spotify is cheating artists, and they're now suing musicians who are trying to get paid more fairly. It's very ugly. So just know that when you're streaming. And if you really do admire an artist, cast a vote. Go on Bandcamp, buy their album for $9, most of which they will receive. You know, or go to a show and buy a CD and get them down the road and help them make another album. So that's all I'm saying. If you like an artist, you know, it's a personal thank you note, and it gives them the energy to continue continue. That's all I'm going to say. We got 2 more songs for you. I want to sing one for my father, the man who raised me by himself. And he was an Air Force brat. So his dad was a squadron leader in the Air Force. So my dad lived all over Canada as a kid. And most of his adolescence and teenage life, he was in Brandon, Manitoba, and in Rivers. And he got a teaching job. He was 18 years old. He got a 2-year contract, one-room schoolhouse up in Churchill, Manitoba. And as soon as he got that, he knew he was going to get that paycheck. He went out and bought himself a cheap guitar, which he took up there. And I'd like to sing a song for my dad and about that guitar. The song's called Rec Room. And I play in Australia. They don't know what a rec room is. They don't even have basements in Australia. Like Rec Room. What's that? 1990. I sure knew how to eat myself. I went back to school and I still never got my grade 12. I still don't have it. Cool in the basement book dust was school for me. Beneath that poster for 20,000 leagues under the sea. The one showed Robert Mitchum lighting a cigarette. And the Yakuza. Still haven't seen that yet. 100 years ago, they were called samurai. That's what the poster said. Not sure that's true, but sure as hell always caught my eye. Between those posters was something I never really seen before. It was always there. It was a cheap guitar hanging by the string from the rec room door. Just a decorative artifact from your Churchill days. How come you never even told me there were songs they used to play? Songs like Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, the theme to Peter Gunn. You know, a few chords were enough for anyone. And you caught the Kingston Trio and all their crew cut collegiate Rio. You picked it up in 1961. There was cobweb dust on the tuning page. Those old nylon strings. Who the hell knows when the last time was you tried to tune back then? But a buddy in a band, he taught my hand how to make a D. That D chord led me straight to my first G. I ain't the only guy whose life got changed on the couch downstairs. No. That first 3-chord song was the cure to all my cares. It had me sneaking out nights, howling at the moon, telling the world. And everybody knew I was in love with a Jersey girl. Just like Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley, theme to Peter Gunn. A few chords were enough to get it done. Yeah, but you caught the Kingston Trio and all their crew cut collegiate Rio. You picked it up in 1961 in a brand new music store. That's right. And you were still a kid. You hung it on a string, but you kept that thing, and I'm glad you did. I ain't the only kid who was forced to sit at a piano stool. Those Leela Fletcher chorus books, and they were worse than school. I got my third and final teacher fired because he used curse words. What's that piano now? A box of songless birds. I got my guitar with me everywhere I go. And I hung up your old harmony on the living room wall just for show. I make a living off this Gibson. Sees me through. I got a rec room education. Dad, that's down to you. Starting with hang down your head, Tom Blue. See me pick a gun. Know a few chords, still enough for anyone. Yeah, when you caught the Kingston Trio and all their crew cut collegiate Brio, you picked it up in 1961 in a brand new music store. You were still a kid. You hung it on a string, but you kept that thing, and I'm glad you did. Oh, cool. That one is on the new album that's coming out later this year. The album is called Dirty Mansions. And again, it was 2 years, 22 months of work, 5 visits to Winnipeg, produced by Scott Nolan. And yeah, that's going to come with over 100 pages. And I'm working on that right now. It'll be officially released in November. That's when it'll drop everywhere. But I'm in 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be putting out the word and launching a campaign, opening the door for pre-purchases of the record that will help me get it made on the home stretch. So if anyone's into my stories and songs, if you want to be entertained every once in a while, you know, I have an email list back there. If you're sitting there and you know, not into my shtick, you know, just stay the hell away from that left side of the table back there, and you'll be safe. But I will be putting out an email about that soon, so that's on Dirty Mansions. Thank you so much, Marcia, Kat, and for having us here at the gallery, and all you Chet folks, and everybody for coming out, all the multitudes. So appreciate it. I know the droves. Oh man, the phalanxes. I got one more song, and back home, I live in Hamilton, but I still play a weekly gig in Toronto. I've been doing it for 14 years, every Thursday at the Cameron House. I have just the most beautiful band, and it's the most beautiful thing. It's keeping me in Southern Ontario. Otherwise, I'd move to Winnipeg, or I'd move to Halifax, I'd go somewhere else. Move to Italy or something. But I just can't give that gig up. Cameron is a special bar, you know. Molly Johnson came out of there, Purry Oyster came out of there, Ron Sexsmith came out of there, Little Rodeo came out of there, Handsome Ned, who had a heroin overdose when he was 27, upstairs at the Cameron. Anyway, what a great bar. If you ever go to Toronto and you want some music, you go to the Cameron House in Queen and Spadina, where there's a sign above the bar that says, "This is paradise." Stars rise and stars fall. You can never count them all. I'm glad to see that yours is on the rise. It's nearly everywhere I go. I hear you on the radio. I can't say that I'm surprised. But the big time is a long climb. You can slide back in no time. If your stars should ever fade, you know what? I'll be right here, acting half my age, just sweating all around the stage, still having fun and getting me. Even that. There will always, if all the lights go to your head, there will always be a good time. There will always be. There will always be a night time. For all of us who knew you when, small time, Adrian. There will always be a small time. I know it. Just come and see us now and then. cell phone with a piece-by-piece ringtone. I play here every Thursday in this bar. Not this bar, but it's last call for day practice. Sign says this is paradise. That's exactly where we are. You know, the folks here seem to like my sound. Tell me that I'm big time bound. All I can say is it ain't happened yet. Yeah, well, if fortune calls me by my name, and I go out to play the game, there's just one thing I won't forget. There will always be a small time. If I'm somewhere else instead, there will always be a good time. There will always be a good time. When the 9-to-5ers go to bed, it will always be the right time. It will always be the right time. For me to walk back through that door, small time. There will always be a small time. You know what I mean? Who could ask for any more? I'm greedy, I'll ask for a little bit more. One more hand for Noah Walker. Oh my God, you sound like 11 people outside. Man, I just had this memory of playing in Owen Sound, Ontario, and this farmer was a fan, a friend of mine. I just remember saying, Corin, I love that small time tune. You know, that's one of my favorite songs of yours, but I need you to know something. I'm not a 9-to-5er. I'm a 5-to-9er. Listen, I went down to the record store. Record store weren't there no more. And though I hate to see it go, guess that don't really bother me. I pay my bills, I drink for free. I'm selling records of my own. I can sweat on any of those for you. The music's gone back home again. Nowadays we're playing in the parlors like the way they used to do. All the big times, they are changing fast. The only thing that's going to last